Welcome to HRTN's Future of Resourcing series. I'm Dee Dee Doak, editor of Recruiter magazine and recruiter.co.uk. In this episode, we speak with Paul Murphy, Global Head of Resourcing for the Royal Bank of Canada. Paul tells us about the importance of brand and how for RBC, the first order of business has been to define and understand its own brand. Paul also tells us about RBC's 7 different graduate programs and resourcing's responsibility in helping the banking industry in regaining its perception as an attractive industry to work in. Here's Paul Murphy.
The brand means a couple of things to people. It's not just brand as someone you want to go and put your money, but it's a brand as an employer, as somewhere where people want to work. And I think one of the biggest issues the Royal Bank of Canada had in the UK 5 or 6 years ago was that people didn't know whether it was a place they wanted to come and work or not. They just hadn't heard of it. We were struggling to employ the very top talent, and we set about working out what we wanted to be, what our own employee value proposition was. We spoke to our hiring managers, what people were saying to their people they were interviewing. We spoke to new hires, and we found out what had persuaded them to come and join RBC, and also, since they joined RBC, what perhaps they hadn't been told and we should have sold more. And finally, we spoke to those third-party organisations and agencies that represented RBC out in the candidate marketplace and how they were selling that. And by wrapping that up together, we began to get an idea of what our overall value proposition was. And then we kind of gradually turned that into, okay, what we were going to be as an employer brand. We managed to gradually change the brand around. It's still not exactly where we want it to be into the future. Not everybody knows who RBC is, but it's moved a long way in the last 5 or 6 years. The perception of banking at the moment is obviously not at an all-time high. It's taken a lot of knocks and remains in a place which isn't the most reputationally safe. RBC has managed to get through that to an extent by the fact of the strength of its home market and its risk awareness in the way it approaches business. But I think looking at hiring in the future, there remains a reputational issue for people wanting to join. All organisations, all financial services organisations need to look very carefully at their internal protocols, as well as ensuring that the culture of their people has changed to an extent where they understand that what the right thing to do is. And then as we go forward into how it might affect us hiring in the future, through a combination of what we've mentioned there, of education of our people and the kind of regulatory controls that have come with the kind of responses to the updates that we've seen, I think we should gradually move into a place which is more attractive for people to join. When it comes to resourcing, all the banks have had trouble previously. The diversity of their recruitment. I think we've talked about getting into schools, getting into younger people earlier, being able to build up some brand loyalty, initially with the whole financial services sector, but then taking it further with our own organisation. And I think we have to give people the opportunities to come and experience and make their own decisions whether they want to continue with a career within financial services. And it's all around giving people the ability to see what it's like, giving people access to opportunities they may not have previously had. There's ever more competition when it comes to individuals, and the days of financial services typically offering a kind of larger compensation and benefits packages have gone. If we take, for example, IT, in the technology space, it's difficult to attract the very top talent into banking when perhaps those technologists feel more comfortable, more attuned that they are doing more with their skills. Banking has to take this kind of these issues very, very seriously. In order to maintain the kind of diversity of their workforce, they are going to have to approach this from different angles. And we are looking at the different ways that we resource now. We like to think ourselves of one organisation with many different careers. Here in London we have kind of 7 different graduate programmes covering all manner of sales, trading, investment banking, through to finance, risk, etc. So we can give people the opportunity to join our organisation, to have careers, the ability to experience different cultures within the organisation, as well as different careers if that's what they choose. I think as well as kind of sampling the opportunity to do many different things, the future leaders of financial services need to be globally astute. And in order to get that, those that join who are potential leaders are going to get the chance to go and experience different countries, different cultures. And that's one thing particularly which I've noticed when people join the organisation are very, very keen on. People want to be able to sample at least one different location in their career. We need to look at the flexibility of how we work. You know, if we look at our kind of benefits packages, the opportunities to do different things within that, and the ability for people to work healthily within the organisation, and it's not a place where people feel repressed or people feel it's somewhere they don't want to come into work. And by making it a very kind of work savvy friendly organisation, gives people the opportunity, or they absolutely feel like somewhere they want to come and work, and they will continue to stay working there. The way resourcing will be done in 20 years' time is going to be markedly different from the way it's done now. Most organisations wanting to be able to develop the talent pipelines themselves from an early age, I think we are going to see clear loyalties built up from youngsters through their educational careers to joining the organisations. I think organisations will expect their own internal teams to be able to monitor and attract the right people. And I think the use of third parties will be restricted to kind of highly specialist projects or tasks within that. I think it will need to be a very kind of consultative relationship. I think access is very, very important, and it's part of our overall resourcing strategy. What we have done at the Royal Bank of Canada is developed an academy which has been running for some 3 years now, where we go into inner London schools. We start speaking to students from the age of 16, their first years of A-levels. We give them workshops on what the city's like, how to develop your CV, how to interview. We even offer a mentoring service if students are perhaps the first generation within their family who are going to university and are thinking of that, to answer the type of questions which perhaps they don't want to ask their teacher or careers advisor at school. It gives them a different third party to discuss, and also gives our employees a great opportunity to meet these students. Going into university for 8 students a year, we provide a bursary to get them through university, and most importantly we offer them the chance to come and work during the summer and other holidays as well, to earn some money and experience what it's like to work within a banking organisation. We've had a lot of positive feedback about it. Yeah, is it going to clear? I think there's an awful lot of responsibility on all the financial institutions, banking in particular, out there to try and disperse this backlog, and it's not going to happen overnight. It will be one of the biggest challenges for our resourcing strategy. The kind of things we need to do to kind of make that happen, to disperse that black cloud as a whole organisation, is to better educate our people, make sure they understand what the right and wrong things are to do, and make it very clear how they report problems, issues that they see.
You've been watching HRTN's Future of Resourcing series with Paul Murphy, Global Head of Resourcing, Royal Bank of Canada. Please join us for the next episode of the Future of Resourcing series, in which our guest will be Matthew Berry, Head of Resourcing, Centrica.